Hello everyone, welcome to yet another episode of Kefa's Solar Matters. Now today I want to talk to us a bit about the substandard solar products. I know we've heard of stories of people who put their money and bought solar products or installed solar systems, but the solar system did not even last for a week. I personally have heard of someone who installed a system, and the system reportedly worked the very evening when it was installed, but the following day the system did not work, and the people who installed could only say allow the system to charge, and the client allowed the system to charge, and it charged but never woke up. So these are common stories, and to say the truth, they're very disappointing and very frustrating, and especially to the people who invest in the solar industry. And that's why today I want to debunk this myth, because many people make conclusions that solar generally do not work. Okay, so I want to show you how you can tell between a genuine solar product and a fake solar product, because part of the problem that sometimes contribute to this kind of scenarios is when somebody go ahead into the market and buy substandard products and install them. Probably they could work for some days, they could work for some weeks, they could work for some months, but ultimately they do fail. Okay, so follow me along as I show you how you can easily tell between a solar product that is genuine and a solar product that is fake. More specifically, I would be focusing on the solar panel. So a solar panel is basically an interconnection of solar cells that are able to produce electricity in the form of direct current, and there are different types of solar panels. There is the monocrystalline solar panel, there is the polycrystalline solar panel, and there is the amorphous solar panel. Most common would be monocrystalline and polycrystalline, and most common in our local market in the tropics is polycrystalline. Generally, polycrystalline is slightly cheaper, but of course, in terms of efficiency, is less efficient compared to monocrystalline. But polycrystalline, I can assure you, I can guarantee you, it would still serve you very well. It would deliver power as expected. It's good enough to work with. Okay, so there are different companies that retail or manufacture these solar products. There are big brands outside there that are known. You've heard of Jinko, maybe you've heard of AmeriSolar, you've heard of Phonix, you've heard of AE, you've heard of QCell, you've heard of different types. Okay, and it is also a fact, especially in our local markets, that we also have an influx of quite a number of Chinese solar panels or solar products. Some of them, their names I cannot pronounce, but yet they're there in the market. Okay, and good to mention that the Chinese solar panels that we have in the local market, we have some of them that are awesome, would serve you very well, they are genuine, they would work very well. But on the flip side, we also have quite a number of Chinese solar panels that are quite substandard. Of course, there are agencies, there are bodies that are there in place that are meant to mitigate on the infiltration of some of these fake solar products into the market, like the Energy Regulatory and Petroleum Authority, we have Kenya Bureau of Standards, we have Counterfeits Authority. These bodies are supposed to work together to make sure that we do not have anything that is substandard in the market. But either way, we still have these substandard solar products in the market. So what exactly should you look out for if you are interested in buying a solar panel from the market and would want to buy an original product? Okay, now I would highlight a few things that you need to look at that you can easily spot and know that whatever you're buying is either good or bad. Number one of the things that you need to watch out for if you're buying a solar panel from the market is the alluring description that is put on the solar panel. If you walk into the streets of Nairobi today, the streets of Ludhuli, for example, you'd find quite a number of shops there that are retailing solar panels. And if you look at the description that is tagged on the solar products they are selling, or the solar panels, you will see something like made in Germany, all weather. I mean, they are very interesting description. But to tell you the truth, most of those solar panels that you see in the market or in the streets, they're Chinese solar panels. Ideally, if you were to look for the German solar panels, they're there in the market, yes, but I would say that to find them in the street probably would be a very rare thing, simply because they are quality and they're premium, so their prices are even higher, and therefore, I mean, just getting them anyhow at very low prices or ridiculous prices, as you would find out, is not a common thing. So one thing that should scare you is when you find a very alluring description tagged on the solar panel. Please watch out when you see that. Okay. The other thing that I want to highlight that you can quickly look at is what we call the nameplate on the solar panel. Now, what is the nameplate? The nameplate is a sticker that is put at the back of the panel, slightly below the junction box. The junction box is a box at the back of panel. Most of the cases is black in color. So slightly below that junction box, there is a sticker that has a lot of writings, or what we call the electrical characteristics of the solar panel. Now, what should you look out for in the nameplate? And how can you use the nameplate to tell whether that solar product is the right product, is a genuine product, or is a fake product? Okay. So number one thing that you want to look out for on the nameplate is what we call the maximum power, or the rated maximum power of the solar panel. Now, if you walk into a shop and you are looking for a 100-watt solar panel, ideally they will give you a 100-watt solar panel. But how do you know it is a 100-watt solar panel? The only way you can know that it is a 100-watt solar panel is when the nameplate also confirms or corresponds to that and highlights that the solar panel is 100 watts. You will see one of the properties or parameter that is written at the back of the nameplate is maximum power 100 watts. Okay, so first of all, check if that corresponds. Number two, the next thing that you'd want to look at, still on the nameplate, there are two parameters that I want you to look at. And one of them is called maximum voltage. In some cases, it would be called voltage at maximum power. Okay? It is also abbreviated as VMP or Vmax. Okay? Depending on the solar panel you're buying, but you will find those are the two namings, or the naming system. Vmax or VMP. That is maximum voltage, also called voltage at maximum power. The other thing that I want you to look at is the maximum current, also called Imax, or current at maximum power, also abbreviated as IMP. Now, if you look at VMP, voltage at maximum power, and IMP, current at maximum power, if you have a calculator or from your phone, just go to the calculator and multiply the value of IMP that you can see on that nameplate and the value of VMP that you can see on that nameplate. If you multiply the two, they should give you the rating of the panel. So if the panel was 100 watts and you multiply the two, you should get something like 100 or close to 100, probably 99.95 or 0.98, close to 100. But if you're getting something way below 100, let's say you're getting 85, that one you must be careful. Or if you're getting 110, that you must be very careful. That must not be a genuine solar panel. Okay? The number three thing that you also want to check out, still on the nameplate, is what we call the open circuit voltage or VOC and open circuit current or what is also called the ISC. Now, what are you going to look at on these values? I want you to compare these values vis-a-vis the voltage at maximum power and the current at maximum power. Let me begin with the first case. So the first case, compare the voltages. That is voltage at maximum power and open circuit voltage, VMP and VOC. Ideally, the VOC, the open circuit voltage, should always be greater than the VMP. The open circuit voltage must always be greater than the voltage at maximum power. So if you find the VMP is higher than VOC, let's say you are getting the VMP as 18 volts and the VOC as 17.5, there is a problem. The same applies to the current. There are two values of current. One is the IMP, current at maximum power, and the other one is ISC, which is the open circuit current. Always, the short circuit current must be higher than the current at maximum power. So ISC must always be greater than IMP. So if, say, your IMP is 5.5 volts, 5.5 amperes, your ISC cannot be anything less than that. So if you find that value is different or the other way around, then you know that this one, you're gonna lose your money. Okay, I can show you a classical case. Now this one happened to me while I walked into the streets of Nairobi, and I checked out this solar panel and I can show you the nameplate characteristics. As you can see, this was a brand they call Solar Max. This was along the streets of Luduli. So when I looked at this solar panel, when I looked at the nameplate, you can see they call it all weather. I don't know where they got that from. And if you look at what they labeled as current at maximum power, they gave it 7.54 amperes. And if you look at their short circuit current, was 6.06 amperes. That is ridiculous. I mean, there is no such a solar panel. And so as you can see also on this Solar Max solar panel, if you'd also calculate the power using what they have given as the current at maximum power, their IMP, and voltage at maximum power, their VMP, that is 18.6 times 7.54, you would be getting something like 140. Now, the panel is rated 50 watts, but if you calculate the two, you are getting 140 watts. So guys, that is the red flag I'm talking about. Because now, what do you believe? So you realize that this was done by some unscrupulous business people, and the whole authenticity of this solar panel, whether it is 50, is questionable. It might even be 10 watts. It might even be 20 watts. Who knows? So that would be a classical case of a solar panel you need to run away from, because I can also show you an original solar panel, a genuine one, the one that is really 50 watts. And this is another company called Swin Solar. This, if you look at their description, probably it is making a lot of sense, because their voltage at maximum power is 2.78. Their current at maximum power is 2.78. The other one was 7 point something. Their open circuit current, their short circuit current is 3 amperes. So you can tell the difference between this solar panel and the fake solar panel. So the other thing that I want to show you guys is a panel that I bought as well. This one is rated 40 watts. But if you look at it, it doesn't look like 40 watts. Now, if you look at the nameplate, the description on the nameplate is something very funny, to say the least, because they have just wrote some names, UXI, something like that, item number, and then they have given what? 40 watts. Now, a genuine solar panel should have a description of how 40 watt comes about. They don't just write 40 watt. They don't just write 50 watts, 100 watts and stop there. They break it down in terms of what is VMP, what is IMP. When the two are multiplied, you're supposed to get the wattage or the maximum rated power for that solar panel. Okay, so on this one, there was no description, and I can tell you for free that this is not 40 watt. And even if you look at it and compare with the 50 watt that I have with me, you can see a huge difference. I mean, 40 watt and 50 watt should be close, but as you can see, the difference is huge. So this one could be maybe something like 20 watts, probably could make sense, but not 50 watt, but not 40 watts. Okay. So as you can see, we have a number of products in the market, and they target the unsuspecting buyers who would still buy them and go install them and then complain that this thing is not working. So it is upon the buyer to be enlightened, to be able to know how this thing works. So I hope this has shed some light to help you understand how to work your way around, especially when you want to buy some of these products. And please, if you're not sure, you can always ask for somebody technical enough, somebody who understands better enough, who can help you to identify genuine products that would serve you and you would have value for money. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in another video.